Welcome everybody. Mainly welcome Mr. Karpe here. I'd like, so those is most of you here, some of you are startups, some of you are students, and there are also students from, not from VJTI, I believe. Few of them are from VSIT. Anybody from VSIT here yet? No. Okay, so they're still on the way, right? Around 8 of them are supposed to join us. So that is will be for more fun.
Yeah.
I'd also like to welcome the CII representatives.
This is the beginning.
This is the beginning. Yes. Surely. I'd also like to welcome Rani Desai, madam. Madam is a well-wisher for all of you. I mean, she's always been there for the channel.
So before I go ahead, I'll just briefly talk about what is VJTI TBI, because some of you are not aware. There are a lot of you who are aware, but still there are enough. I mean, so we as VJTI itself, right? So VJTI, most of you know, one of the oldest institutes, technological institutes in India. Actually, I think the third oldest. And the present has just celebrated its centenary right now. So this is where you're sitting is actually a historical building, 100 years old. Like to say is that we have a place where all the major IITs were incubated. So incubation is always there in a blood. It's in a DNA, basically. So whether it's IIT Bombay, IIT Kanpur, or IIT Madras, all of them have some founding member or some connect to VJTI. So that's something that we're very proud of. And talking about the innovation culture, all these big stalwarts, people that we all know, whether it is JC Mahindra, Virucha Godrej, Anil Kapotkar, all of and continuing, we have Mr. Avtar Saini, who actually developed the Pentium processor at Intel. Mr. Dr. Rajesh Parekh. So this is just a snapshot. This is not the full exhaustive list. The exhaustive list is very, very large. Okay. So I'm just going through this fast so that we can go directly to the real main agenda. So just an introduction, we were actually formed by a DST sanction, it was a DST project. TBI was a DST project known as Nidhi TBI scheme. Currently registered as a charitable trust. Taken 5 cohorts. That is cohorts is the number of, each cohort we take around 10 startups. So roughly right now we have around 57 startups. Cater to the whole range of startups. Currently, we have made sure that it is in a theme area. Energy, clean tech, EV, AIML, IoT and cybersecurity. Cybersecurity, basically infrastructure cybersecurity. Critical infrastructure cybersecurity. We do not really cater much to the fintech cybersecurity. Now, why those particular themes is mainly because that is where we have enough capabilities already with us as VJTI. So we are just using it further. We have received CSR funds from different places, like whether it's LTI, IT cementation, SIGB, Techno Talent. So where the place you're sitting here right now has been refurbished with LTI CSR, right? And we've different places, whether it is 3 crores from them and 3 crores from SISFs. So these are seed funds that we can disperse to our startups. Extremely proud to say that we are smart. We have been judged the Smart Incubator of the Year for 21, 23 and by ISDF. So ISDF is the main because energy sector. So ISDF is like one of the main people there. So what do we provide? So like I said, these are our main expertise. Our expertise is along with our HI. HI is our post institute, which is VJTI. So that is energy, clean tech, IoT, AIML, electric vehicles, and cybersecurity. Now, what do we provide? We provide prototyping facilities. That means, you can actually make your idea can be made into a actual prototype, right? How do we go about it? We have connects with all. Well, not all of it is in money. It is also in the form of time. Okay. So whether SDI, Emerson, Mathworks, Siemens. So we have a connect with all of these people for prototyping. Industry and corporate networking, clearly CII is one of them. Okay, that is not written there. I just realized that, but we'll put that in. So CII is there, then we have with IMA, Climate Collective, Cyber Peace. So that way we are able to network your startups to the outside world. Investor connects, again, 100x VC. We have a connect with them. We have with LTI. HDFC Bank has just provided us with some grant, Parivartan grant. CP has also, and Technotel and all these people have provided us grant. And we also provide services, whether it is IP or marketing or any kind of form of CA or CS requirement. Now, some of the things that we have, which most incubators do not really have, is the large pool of mentors. Because of the fact that we are with BJTI, all our alumni, as you've already seen. So our mentors are something that we are very proud of. We do provide for a startup is the large pool of interns. Okay? Because of the connect, because we are sitting in BJTI, the large pool of students with BJTI will be helping you out to make your product. Partners. So I'm just rushing through it. Mainly labs that we have, all these labs, your prototyping and MVP. Infrastructure, so what you see here, this area, plus a lot of, we have conference rooms, meeting rooms, ideation room and all that. These are all for the startups. And here roughly the journey. Like for the last 3 years, we have been continuously adjusted as the smart incubator. Snapshot of some of our products. I mean, this is something that, sir, you will be interested in, I hope. Also, I believe. Then Airpix, Yotaka. So these people are all in video analytics. They use AIML. Then we have Mag9. Mag9 is here. So this is just a snapshot of all the different products that have come out of this incubator. Small snapshot. So I'd like to end it here, where we are currently, right? So 57 startups in 8 domains with 50 plus mentors, 30 plus partners. This includes all technology, industry, ecosystem, everything. We are continuously doing different types of programs, training accelerator program, this being one of it. And we, along with our incubators, have won many awards, more than 25, 20 is actually less. Okay, so I'll just give it on to Mr. Karpe. Mr. Karpe, like you know, is the founder and partner of 100x.bc. And he was also the MD and CEO of Aptech. That is something I just came to know. And I also worked as the managing director of CII Technology. So I'm not going to take any more of your time. Over to you, sir.
Thank you. While setting it up, let me start by thanking all of you to come here. Thank you again. Pretty impressed with what all of you are doing here. I didn't know so much about it. My brother is long back, of course. And I have a hard stop at 5:25 because 5:30 is a hockey match. Fan. So whatever you do, then by 5:25 you have to finish. Let him get going. So how many of you are from startups and how many of you are students? How many are startups? Balance of students, I hope. Aspiring startups, I assume. Yeah. What I will try and do in 35 minutes or so, cover how to raise a seed capital. Not for seed capital, most startups, if not all, will die. Seed capital is a very, very important stage for any startup. Just this morning on my LinkedIn, I posted if all ideas come alive, what will happen? Just as a matter of thought. Are you ready? Okay, great. So, seed capital stage is really the most important stage. Let me see if the clicker works. I see a lot of mistakes. I don't want to brag, just to give some context so that you understand where I come from. I've had corporate experience, but 5 years back, we started 100x and we are quite overwhelmed. We get 8 to 10,000 pitches every year. So as a firm, and each and every pitch, someone sees it and responds to it. So over the last 5 years, we've received so many pitch decks. I listen to at least 4 or 5 pitches every day. And some of you have. The beauty of all this is, over 5 years, I have figured out that what works, what doesn't work, and what you should do. So all of you are damn lucky. On my 5 years of efforts, you'll get to know in 25 minutes. Share all the ideas. Seed funding, it's all on hope. Unlike Series A, Series B, Series C, where there's traction, where there's the whole market is proven or a product is proven. We have invested in 160 startups so far, last 5 years, all on hope. Because we've cut the first check. As an investor, we invest in hope. So for you, you have to ensure that when you are pitching to an investor, you have to give them that hope that this is a big market. This is what I'm passionate about, and you're going to make good amount of money. So this hope is what, there's nothing else to base your investment decision on. We have made a lot of. One quick example, there are these 3 boys who came from Jadavpur University, Calcutta, And they just had a PowerPoint. Out of 161 startups, 4 will invest in PowerPoint. Why am I giving an example? I'm not bragging about 100x. Please don't misunderstand. But I'm trying to tell you that this is possible. They came with just a PowerPoint. They wanted to use 289 public data sources, including NASA data. NASA data is available by a 24-hour lag or at a price. And throat will not. Thank you. That's better. So NASA data is available after and 289 operational intelligence. And just based on that PowerPoint, we funded them. The name of the company is Data Sutram. And today they are doing exceedingly well. They're using locational market strategies and financial services market. It's possible. In India, it's possible to raise money at very early stage. My famous quote, and you can tweet it, but please attribute it to me, is capital is chasing ideas. Today, capital is chasing ideas. If you have a great idea, not got funded, there's a problem in which the way you are pitching it. The global average for getting funded at the seed stage 65 times. If you're not pitched 65 times, that means you're below the global average funded. I meet a lot of startup founders who say, "Hey, I have pitched 5 times, your VCs don't understand it. No, I have got such a great idea." I ask you how many times 5? It's okay, 60 more, then you're hitting the average. Remember, it's a process which takes time. Sometimes it happens quick, sometimes you have to have a lot of perseverance. So these are some of the examples. I can give more examples. Let me get straight to the matter. How do you raise your seed funds for? Fundamentally, you raise money. Just yesterday, I'll give an example. One of my close friends, whatever, they were, showing up his day, and they said, "We want 9 crores." I said, 9 next 5 years. I said, "This doesn't work like this. How you make? Next 5 years, I don't want to worry about. I'll raise 9 crores. How can you dilute your whole startup with such a big amount? You have to raise your money till the next fundable round. Typically, it's 18 months, 12 months, 20, max 24 months. It's 18 months is the sweet spot. So 12 to 18 months is what raise at the seed. Problem is, you will not get more. Firstly, because there are people just banking on hope. Is too much, you dilute too much. Remember, as a startup founder, what is your biggest asset? People think it's IP, people think it's your biggest asset, which you have to really hold it like a real conjuice, is your equity. Equity is your biggest asset. You cannot dilute without, unless. And of course, I have mentioned why seed capital is important. So this is a starting point. You might be passionate about a product and you have to be a founder. But what is the market size? I'll give you an example. Someone pitched to me South Bombay residents. Now, how is it fundable? A starting point itself is tough. It's not a big, large opportunity. As investors, whether it's angel investors, VCs, we want to see a large business opportunity. Startup is very different from a business. You might have to South Bombay residents. It's a good business opportunity. You may have a good living. But it's not a startup. Startup means you want something which is large, you can grow rapidly, and you have to be able to identify the segment you are targeting. If you're not able to identify that, it's difficult. There's an example of Kerala banana chips in a subsequent slide. Maybe I'll just tell you a little background and that time. He is an MBA from Symbiosis. Also, the example I'm giving this so that you get confidence that you can raise seed money. I'm not bragging. I can keep telling you about 161 startup, but so that you get confidence that money is there, you can raise money. So he did his MBA from Symbiosis and came to us. He's from Kerala, and his idea was to make banana chips, jackfruit chips, pineapple chips, and all kinds of. And he had revenue of only 2 lakhs. So we told him, no, don't do all of this. Just focus on banana chips. Now, it is so counterintuitive because if I step out of Matuga, we to sell at 50% more price packaged banana chips. So now if you say, oh, no, there's no opportunity because it already is crowded market. But he found and we managed to work with him to find an opportunity where these banana chips were made from bananas called Nendran banana. Nutritious, untouched by hands, packaged product like peri peri, and sales when he came to us, within 24 months it was 2 crores, and within 36 months it's 5 crores a month. What went right? It's a large business opportunity. It is crowded, but he found a niche and is able to now capture more and more. So he's obviously money. So your opportunity has to be large. If it is not large, it is not VC funded. Just bear this in mind. If it is niche, then there are other avenues of getting funds. There are government funds. There are strategic people who will invest. There are corporate venture capital people. But if you're looking at the opportunity of raising seed funds from angels or VCs, opportunity has to be very large. This is an example. It's a true example of 2 founders to me, and as you can imagine, which is I'm pretty patient, including one. Let me be on the side track. So there is this 17-year-old or 16-year-old boy from Delhi who came to me on LinkedIn and said, I want to pitch an idea to you. So I generally always tell everyone, apply to 100x.vc/class, now class 12. And someone will look at. But he insisted, and I sometimes, feel, oh, let's be a young boy, guide him. I gave him a Google Meet slot, and I told him, put on the video, make sure he's 17-year-old. He was actually 17-year-old school student. And then he told me his idea in 10-15 minutes. He pitched quite well about his age. But it was not something which was fundable by various reasons. So I told him, sorry, I'm not going to fund it. So he said, why not? Now, I never respond to why not, because then it gets into a discussion mode, right? So I tell him, no, I generally don't give feedback. It's not possible. He said, no, please, give, it will help me. Sometimes the fatherly instincts come in, which is not a good thing. If I say 17-year-old boy, like, have much older son. I told him ABC reason. Oh, interestingly, and I put a blog, I wrote for this incident in my blog, and I got a huge number of views. His response to me was, and this is, I didn't take it offensively. This is how these people should. These are the exact words. So I said, just to give you a flavor of the kind of people I meet every day, from the CEO of Aptech to meeting startup founders, is a very different world. So I told him, that's fine. But this still remains my feedback. And I closed it. And I wrote a blog, and I got so many views. I otherwise write blogs on which I think are fairly interesting topics, like when the first AI president took office. And that I got some 15,000. Here I get some 50,000. Coming back to this, there are 2 founders who came, and first line they say is, I want to say exact words, I or we want to solve all the problems of the world through technology. Now I'm listening to, I'm trying to figure out what are they trying to say. The point I'm trying to make is, you have to be very precise. So this is the first, those are their words. In my mind is, so what? Everyone wants to solve their problems today. Next line is, you want to ensure that I save this planet for the next generation. So again, in my mind, I'm saying, so what? Now remember, when you pitch to an investor or VC, there are exactly 3 so whats in his or her mind. If at the third so what, you're not able to give a precise answer, it's over. The person goes on to his WhatsApp and is not listening to you. There was just one chance left for this, and this happens very often. You cannot be very generic when you're pitching. Be very precise, straight to the point. Switch off. You fortunately said what. In general stuff, mission, you say exactly what you want. And then now there are 3 so what's running in an investor's mind. So when you pitch, if you're not able to give precise answer before the third so what, mind is too small. So keep that in mind. You have to be very clear what is the problem. Tell me till 5 minutes what is the problem they are trying to solve. No, can't be general. The solution also has to be very precise. And again, you have to be very precise on how much money you want to raise. At seed stage, the amount of money you have to raise has to be. Sounds very simple, but if you're not able to articulate this precisely, quickly, it doesn't work. There's a very famous Papa CJ, who's more known in Delhi, he's a good friend of mine. But he's written a lot of stuff on presentation. And I interviewed him for something. See what he's saying about presentation.
A solid person who's willing to put that hard work in. The one thing I would say is, I have seen a lot of startup founders are not very good storytellers. I've been at events where they're pitching to, the investor or VCs sitting in front, and they have 6 minutes to tell their story. And they're unable to clearly articulate their story. And as a comedian, I'm thinking, what is wrong with you? I can help you do this. Why are you not being successful? This is a problem that exists. This is how I'm solving it. This is the size of the problem. This is who I am. That's it. Yes. What else do you want to hear?
Not from Papa CJ, very simple, straightforward. So again, pitches, you have levels ready with you all the time, and each is different. If you're asked to pitch for 3 minutes, it's different. 10 minutes is different. Email pitch is very different. A pitch deck, the investor is very different. It cannot be the same as the in-person pitch. Each of this, you have to be very ready. Open up at 3 a.m. in the morning, also 2 minutes, you're at this. You open up at 5, send an email pitch, absolutely updated. The worst thing you can do, and you never do it, and it happens all the time. It happened this morning when I heard a pitch. Some numbers are there of, some traction of June. So I said, oh, July, oh, sorry, I forgot to write. It doesn't work. You have to be ready, all these pitches. Video, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, various shapes, and each has a different shape. Research your investor. If you are meeting today, everything is available on the internet. So you should know about me because it's all there on LinkedIn. Help you to figure out what exactly to say. For example, if you're in an edtech space, I have worked in a company 7 years. We had 1,000 centers across 35 countries, so pretty large. exactly what to say, what not to say. You have to be sure that responses have to be fast. So a lot of people are the startup founder. You have to understand the basics of finance. There is enough material on the internet. There are enough books available. The gentleman in Pune is a good friend, Anil Lamba, who keeps writing about romancing the balance sheet. And you have to understand. You can't say, oh, what is EBITDA? I don't know what is CM1, CM2. Uh, Coding is tough. But understanding financial is not as tough. So you have to be able to give quick responses. Structure, obviously, if you're raising, let's say, 1 crore, 2 crore, whatever, what is the runway you're going to do? Will it last you for 6 months, 12 months, 18 months? How are you going to allocate that money? With that, let's say you're raising 2 crores, are you going to get revenue of 4 crores? Or are you just going to waste money on, spend money on research and development, marketing? All these answers have to be readily available off the cuff with you. Don't dilute too much. It goes back to my first one, raise only. If very early you raise too much money, there's no equity left. Or equity is one of the big. I'm not a big fan of doing free equity. I see a lot of those presentations where there are 5 advisors, each of them will given 2%, 3%. It doesn't work. It actually will harm you in the long term. If you have advisors, understand what they bring to the table. You require mental advice. You cannot do without them. But be very careful before you give free equity. As investors, we just do not like too many advisors who are given free equity. So be very careful. If you have loans in the startup, VCs will not fund. And come to when VCs for funding or figure out a way. If you have personal loans, parents or neighbors, and that's in the books, like loans are tough issues there. This is another thing sometimes I see, not sometimes, a lot of time. We ask for projections and then you say, this we will easily achieve. I said, then what is achieve tough? No, I thought I'll give you projections which are easily achievable. And maybe when you fund, I can give something which can be stretched. It doesn't work that way. Don't nor undercut yourself. Give something which is possible with a stretch. This whole idea which you've been thought of, under promise and overachieve, doesn't work in the startup. That may have worked in other worlds. The startup world definitely does not work. So give projections which are real. And this is a video. I hope you don't recognize the person, not a video, a photograph. Dress appropriately, speak appropriately. I got this video pitch. This guy, he sent me a video pitch prepared like this. Now, there's nothing wrong in it. He thinks it's. I certainly don't think it's good. So be very careful. This may sound very basic, but I've actually got a real image of a video pitch. Unfortunately, it doesn't work. It will be cool for you, but you will definitely not work. So these are small things, but important, and you have to ensure. So again, be authentic. If you try to be something else and try to whittle your way at somewhere, and it will not work. There are typically in the investor meeting, VC meeting, there are 4 or 5 people asking rapid questions for your room. Have to be very authentic and dress. This is my favorite slide, I call it Chachiji's advice. In India, there's no shortage of people giving advice. Say you're a startup founder, and the moment we give a check, suddenly there are 50 people advising the poor guy or poor girl. It's, from the parents, the chacha, the senator, they put up a poster, they go to a pudding pe lagao. There's no shortage of advice, and the beauty of it is, if you listen to it, you'll definitely fail. Guaranteed. All the 50 people who advise you, including your chachi ji, your parents, the startup world is a new world. It's a very different world. Being successful in business does not mean necessarily you'll be successful in a startup. I've seen this time and again. You've cut a check of 1.25, then suddenly, there are hundreds of people. First thing they do, and you should not do, is when you get seed money, do not announce to the world. The moment you announce, you get hundreds of advices, all free and all wrong. Guaranteed. There is not even 1%. Listen to your VC, listen to your investors, startup founders. That is it. Don't listen to people outside that ecosystem, because startup very different. Here's a piece of advice and listen to it. So what does your product do? You should be very clear about it. Is it a vitamin pill is optional or pain? So if it is a pain, love to have painkillers. Ideally, your product should be a painkiller. Vitamin pills also get funded, but they come lower down the line in terms of importance VCs give. Does it fill a vacuum? There a gap somewhere. There are a couple of things, reasons, ways VCs see seed funding. Is it a new product? Is it filling a gap? Or is it an existing product also not a problem? Like how we did the Kerala banana chips. And there's a different way of achieving big results. So you have to figure out, are you filling a vacuum? But the most important point, it has to have a, can it grow rapidly? The moment you say, okay, I'll spend 1 lakh rupees, I'll get 2 lakhs, 1 lakh on marketing, I'll get 2 lakhs on revenue. I spend 2 lakhs on marketing, I'll get 4 lakhs in revenue. I spend 4 lakhs, I'll get 8 lakhs. It doesn't work that. This is a linear method. It can't work. You have to have growth hacks. You have to figure out. Look at what some people have done building communities. This may not be the appropriate place to talk about physics, wala, but yeah, it's 8, 9, 10, so it doesn't fall in this domain. Followers, just giving lessons on the internet. There are so many such examples on YouTube, and because of those followers, the person is able to monetize. He had funded a startup of a person is he's here on YouTube, a channel called Curious Harish. He had some 1.5, yeah, some of you may have heard. He had some bizarre followers, and based on that asset, it became a fundable startup. Personal, somebody followed community. So do all this. This is all helps in raising funds. This is the commercial for Kerala banana chips, and I spoke about it earlier.
But beyond that,
So, most people living in urban areas, if you have a product like this, potato chips, but they also fried. Eventually, it's not. But yeah, they're obviously more healthy. So when Manas came, he was very keen to this as a health snack. Still, unfortunately, are going for taste. Health is important, but health is number two. Health is more urban phenomena. 90% of the consumers are outside. Go for taste and push health as number two. So then this 24 karat taste and all ideas. But we really pushed him hard to think of taste as option. Why I'm telling you is we still get a lot of pitches on health, which is important. It's not important. But Indians still are very, very important in health. And this is how it is worked over here. I'm not saying it work for all products. So let me quickly, next 3, 4 slides, wind down and there are questions that we can take questions. All these metrics, you have to have them very ready. Have any early traction? What is the traction? What sales are you expected 1 year down the line? What sales revenue expected 6 months, 2 years down the line? Spreadsheet and say how much funds you require to scale. And the last is also most important. We get, let's say, 3 coders. All 3 are coders. Unfortunately, it doesn't work. With people with different competency. It is fine if all 3 are coders, but all 3 can't be saying, we are all going to code and who's going to handle marketing? No, we'll hire someone. I've heard this all very often. No, we'll hire someone for business development. As a founder, you have to be in front of a startup, pitching and selling your products. You have to be the salesperson. You cannot rely on hiring someone to be a salesperson. If you're not able to sell your own product or someone else from outside whom you hire will not do a better job. And the competency gaps, you have to fill them up. If there are more than one. Ideally, there should be more than one. Generally prefer more than one founder. Lead investor is someone who will pick up the phone and say, Vinod, I'm investing in this. Need to have a look at this morning. Senior years back called me and said, get this young man, please have a look. I'm convinced. Second round, I'll be the lead investor. Very critical step. If you're able to get a good lead investor, there are plenty of super angels. There are people like us who invest early stage. There are others as well. If you're able to get a lead investor, she should be someone who picks up the phone, who opens the network. Great lead investor, you're on your way to success for raising seed. Very critical to get a good lead investor. Plenty of angel networks in Bombay also. You can approach them. VC firms. Today, a lot of families have also started investing. Large family has now set up a family office. They have also started investing. So there are multiple. So these are some of the options. You can go to angel investors. or incubators and accelerators. And some of the don'ts, I've been saying what are the do's. Don't ask for major discount. Your main objective should be to get the next PT. Okay, your objective should not be, tell me yes or no. It's like going on a date. You have aim is to get the second date, right? If you like, it's exactly like that. Don't push a VC to say, Ninad, what do you think? So then I say, okay, let me think. No, but I like some quick feedback. Don't push on that. VCs are not used to it, and a lot of people don't give. I don't give because it gets into a lot of discussion, and I have been hit back also once with the famous statement which you can read on the think that you are not willing to share your idea unless VC sign NDA. Unfortunately, VCs will not sign. So be ready to share your ideas. As a rule, we have never shared ideas with anyone. I would listen. VCs do not, because fortunately for all of you, in India, the VC industry is very small. It's not a very large industry. For size of the country, it's still a very tiny VC world. Number of VCs are very tiny. That's something which is unethical. The word spreads very fast. So you don't have to worry on that. But India is known science. So don't even think of saying, oh, talking to that firm, obviously you can share the pitch deck before the meeting. And some tips from my experience. Obviously, your business plan should be very strong. It cannot happen that you have a vague business plan and say, I'm really passionate, you need to understand what I'm doing. It doesn't work that way. You have to figure out how you have a strong business plan with a good pitch deck. I'm sure here you're taught how to make a pitch deck. There's plenty of stuff on the internet, including our website, other website, how to make a compelling pitch. Network. People is fond of the time they have spent in college. Alumni is a great network. Your colleague somewhere, colleague senior who's become a founder somewhere. Just the other day I met a founder who's from one of the IITs and wanted help in something. So I said, why are you asking me? You're from IIT Kanpur. Don't you have alumni from there who can help you solve this? I thought I'll ask you. So you have to first leverage your own network before you come to any. All grants available, I'm sure over here you've been told about it. I've spoken about angels, networking events. There are plenty of networking events, mixers, even in Bombay. There's Thai events, other events. You should try and attend them. But some of the YouTube channels and how they build a presence. If you are raising funds seriously, if you don't have a LinkedIn account, you're in trouble. You need to. LinkedIn is the least glamorous social media for people of your age, but it's more impactful, most impactful if you are raising money. Watch it. So you have to have a LinkedIn account which is impactful and proper. I'm sure Insta and others are gives you more joy. Have seed capital will have equal joy with a good LinkedIn. So let me end this with the last video. This is Mike from Dollar Shave Club, and slightly old video, but I really enjoyed it. So played as the last slide. And thought that why do we have to go every time to buy a razor blade to shave? So why can't there be a service which gives me razor blades on a subscription model at affordable price? Simple. There's no rocket science, there's no IP. So they started something called Dollar Shave Club in 2011. Founder, and this is what I say: you have to be in front of camera, in front of the audience, in front of the customers. Don't feel shy of not going. Sometime in March, they put up this video. It crashed. 2016, they sold a company for $1 billion cash. What is the business? Selling razor blades on subscription model. $1 billion cash.
Founder of DollarShaveClub.com. What is DollarShaveClub.com? Well, for $1 a month, we send high quality razors right to your door. Yeah, $1. Are the blades any good? No. Our blades are great. Each razor has stainless steel blades, an aloe vera lubricating strip, and a pivot head. It's so gentle a toddler can use it. And do you like spending $20 a month on brand name razors? 19, go to Roger Federer. I'm good at tennis. And do you think your razor scratcher and 10 blades? Your handsome ass grandfather had 1 blade and polio. Stop paying for shit you don't need. And stop forgetting to buy your blades every month. I'm wondering how you're gonna ship right to you. We're not just selling razors, we're also making new jobs. Alejandro, what were you doing last month?
Not working.
What are you doing? Hey. So stop forgetting to buy your blades every month and start deciding where you're gonna stack all those dollar bills I'm saving you. We are DollarShaveClub.com and the party is on.
So as a founder, you have to do all of this. Okay? Don't just think you have to be a damn good coder in a back room, small room somewhere, and you'll be successful. It doesn't work. Anyway, I shared all my thoughts. We've got 15 odd minutes. 5:30, my match is starting, not my match, India's match. So I'm going to watch that. So for that 25 minutes, I'm available. Played hockey in my younger days in school, so I don't miss. If anyone has any questions, feel free. And if I say something, don't say you're talking bullshit.
Recently, there was a news that Rapido become a unicorn, right? So their business model is very similar to Uber. Basically, a Uber cab, Uber auto. So I tried applying to a lot of incubators with my idea, and they reject me directly. Very patentability in your idea. But if Rapido can become a unicorn, they started somewhere. Like, this is a chicken and egg problem. So how do I go ahead with this?
65 times.
So
No, I
you said the same thing. And startup,
hasn't changed 65 times.
same thing.
So, you can have the same idea. It's always a chicken and egg. See, ultimately, let's say you pitch to a VC and you have the same idea as Rapido. They will fund you on hope, right? So it's not logic. They'll hope that you can do it. And if they feel confidence that you're able to execute, if you're doing exactly what someone else is doing, you're winning. How can you at a seed stage, how can an investor at a seed stage figure out your execution capability when you have nothing to show? Right? So it again becomes a circular movement. So they will invest in you if they think you're able to execute. It's all very subjective. So if you don't get affected, it's not because you have lack of ability. It's all in the subjective mind of the investor. So don't feel dejected.
So, keeping SaaS companies aside, so I have a hardware company, we manufacture EV chargers. Let's say a company which is selling tangible. From a VC point of view, what is burning cash and getting growth or being cash rich? What is, do we have a winner between the two? Is there this? But what is it that a VC would, look for more?
And they came to us again with a very early stage, almost visuals. They do EV batteries, which are immersible technology. That's what they're doing exceedingly well. And they just showed us images and graphs, and we took a risk. So hardware people do get funded by early stage. It's tougher naturally because hardware companies require far more capital than let's say a SaaS company. So the decision making just takes a little more time. You funded a company called Thick Metal, and they are doing 3D printing and all that. But coming back to your point, see, these days of just burn and get more revenue are over now. You have getting growth which is non-linear. So there is some growth hack in it whereby after spending, you're getting the revenues are starting to pick. It can't be a flat line. You're spending so lakhs. That doesn't work now anymore. You have to show that there is some ability, or you have a plan in place whereby this thing will start triggering. Then we look at it. So just burning for sake of growth is no longer there. But yes, we should always look for asymmetric growth or large growth.
Sir, thank you so much for the presentation, sir. It was very. I would like to know what is the status of Section 8 NGOs and what is the environment for donors or investment in such NGOs. For example, let's say there was one NGO working in the environment sector for that matter. How would they sustain in the longer run? And let's say if they register now, they would require at least 3 years for the CSR donations to come. So what donors or what partnerships should they try to make to sustain in the longer run?
Can you to her also send?
What was the time service industry? So we have an idea to the service industry. What is the time? Considering it to be a service, there should not be a lot of people in.
Because I am not the right person because I am the. There are grants and there are options which I'm sure you are aware of, but we are familiar with. The service industry, VCs do fund. There are favorite areas of the. There are a lot of services which have done exceedingly well, and VCs have funded. What you need to prove is that, let's say, 1 lakh, with 20 people, you can't be 2 lakhs. 20 people, you can't be 3 lakhs. 40 will become 16, 25 lakhs. You have to be able to show that with some investment. asymmetrically large. That is possible. VCs have funded services. So there is a sweet spot. You, as I said in the beginning, you can't raise too much too early. And what is the minimum required to have a threshold whereby you can invest and start showing some rapid growth? So, as a rule, you should not raise money for more than 12 months. I said 12 to 18. But in my hardware and services, 18 is probably the best. You should raise money to last you for 12 to 15 months. Then after, in services, you can always go back after 6 months with a date saying, I've achieved so much traction, so give me a better valuation. Yeah. Okay. All the best, all of you. Ask 2, 3 questions. Yeah, I can speak it. Deep tech.
Yeah. Generally, what is the scenario with respect to VCs? And generally, it is said, I mean, is there any distinction between like those who are going to have health as a government sector or a private sector? And with respect to that, how decisions are taken and what is your advice to startups in that case while pitching?
B2G is a great sector, B2 government, by business to government, but unfortunately not a preferred sector with private investors in general. They don't prefer, but there's a lot of business to be done. And the reason they don't prefer is the long sales cycles, payments are delayed, generally speaking. So B2G is tough. Deep tech, actually in India, we get very few pitch decks. The investment company called Fluke, which does analysis of deepfake videos. We've done 3, 4. Okay, but there is funding available in deep tech also. Deep tech actually you have an advantage. What do we see with a model which is not only all the percentage is government is fine. Very large percentage government, then there are actually a lot of funds available. Maharashtra state also has an innovation fund. You're registered. They are giving term sheets. I know. You have to come only to us. There are plenty of people. And if you take central government also got a lot of funds. Each state has a lot of incentives for startups.
I have this same question at startup resume 8 days ago. So the thing is, as my startup didn't have any patentability, my mentor asked me to pivot the idea, do something that is unique, that will get it patent. So I'm working on doing algae now.
Algae.
Algae, yeah. That again, it's a chicken egg problem. You start with this idea, I need some grants, and the idea is so young, so ahead of the time, and the TRL level is so low that everyone signed. She said that it looks like a research project, academic research project. That's the reason why I took admission over here. And I'm doing a master's, and that's my master's project. But then again, to complete this project, I need funds. And I don't know how to get funds for this project. I got a fellowship. My second year's fees are waived off. I'm getting stipend, but that's not enough. So how do I go ahead with it?
This is the third event you are going to attend with me. That question was addressed to me that time. I thought only my wife keeps a check on me. This guy doesn't really happen. Okay. Please. Don't go, I mean, you'll get opinion and opinion, but Pointy is of course a very respected name. You can, there are a couple of ways of doing it. Either you do 65 times and or you have to go to a lot of government grants are there. These are the only two options. The third is you have to go to someone who deeply believes. No? There are investors who deeply believe in this. It's tough. It's not going to be easy, but it can happen. So I gave an example to batteries. Startup founder is tough, and I'm repeating it. You must have heard it. Said it that time also. It's very tough. But if you succeed, you are very, 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 very good. Okay, anyone else before my hockey match?
Thanks for your hockey match.
What time?
5:17.
Okay, let him ask the last question. Yeah, quick one. You wanted to ask something? No. Okay, then. Okay, thank you. So grant is not a problem. It doesn't dilute equity. It's a good thing. It's great. You've got a grant. Thank you again for calling me. Thank you. Thank you.
That was actually one of the best PPT we have seen, I think. I mean, thank you everyone for being here. And as a token of our little bit of
Thank you very
Oh,
much.
thank you.
This is actually some paper.
Okay, great. I'll give it to my brother. Who will immediately- He'll love it.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you very much.
Thank you.
Good luck to have you here
Sure.
again. Thank you, everyone. So there's some snacks, tea and some snacks. And might be
I'll have 5 minutes.
okay. Okay.